Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Literally a guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that beautiful lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to PSGL Season 36, round number 5 for the top tier on PlayStation. We head to the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, where the drivers are hoping to avoid the Wall of Champions. It is, of course, the Canadian Grand Prix. A few changes to the driver lineup, but we'll go through that in just a moment. My name is Jess Ball, and joining me in the commentary box once again is Mr. James Head. James, how you doing?
I'm doing really well, Jess. Yes, we are in Maple Leaf country here tonight in Canada. Might be taking a trip on the Rocky Mountaineer, but honestly, I'm really excited for the action here tonight in Canada. First race that we've had in Canada since season 32. And who won that day? Tyler Hardy won that day.
Yes, and pretty much the top 3 on that day are not racing on PS anymore. Most of them are racing on the PC side, which just goes to show how much the landscape, if you like, the console landscape has changed since then. We've got quite a few changes to the results. Last week we hardly had any. This week we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stewards reports to go through. Only 4 of those instances resulted in time penalties. James, talk us through it.
Yes, naughty boys out on track last week in Austria. There were 4 penalties given. Well, 5 if you count Cameron down to 6 seconds, but I'll come on to that shortly. Renz got awarded a 3-second penalty. Originally finished 4th. He ended up down in 8th position at the end of that. That was as a 3-second penalty, and that was because of an incident with Zozo on lap 6, turn 6. Also, Cameron Dowd, he had 2 separate incidents, 6 seconds worth for both, so 3 seconds for an incident with Zozo. That was on lap 3, turn 3, which I think we caught on stream. And also, again with Zozo, Zozo seems to be getting involved into everything last week. Cameron Dowd as well, getting lap 31, turn 7, an incident there as well. Other penalties include Backy, who got 3 seconds. He got demoted all the way down to 14. Cameron Dowd, by the way, finished in 6th, got demoted all the way down to 13th in the end. Backy's 3-second penalty was as a result of, and I'm just trying to scroll through and find it, that was, I think, as a result of an incident with Gustav. Lap 33, turn 3, it all got very tight, remember, in towards turn 3 on the final few laps of that race. And also, Kazizel got a 5-second penalty as well. That put him right down in 16th position as a result. Kazizel's 5-second penalty was for, I think, was for an incident, again, with Zozo. Zozo seems to have got under everyone's skin last week in Austria. Hopefully not the same tonight in Canada.
Yeah, he was very unlucky, I have to say, and people are probably wondering, what does that do with the driver's standings? Well, Jess, you get the answer right here. So we got Matteo, who is still currently leading the championship on 46 points to Flopman's 37. Ren's in third on 29. Now, you probably noticed it doesn't have an R on Cameron Dowd's name. Cameron Dowd is back as full-time. We know it didn't take that long for him to be back as full-time here at PSGL. He's in the AlphaTauri as well, so he is in the championship hunt once again. Ian Van Uben is in 5th on 23 points. Gil in 6th on 20. Yossi in 7th on 19. Paula Congan in 8th on 17, as well as Keke. Ryan in 10th on 7. We've got Jeroen, Gustav, Noof, Zorzo, Backy in 15th. Erpek has dropped down to reserve, but he's still down in 16th. Justin in 17th. Barak is back now as full-time in the McLaren, taking Erpek's spot, so great to see him back in there. And then we've got a few drivers yet to score. So, big changes. Cameron Dowd and Barak full-time. Enela, Stefano and Erpek down to reserves.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way, to both Cameron Dowd and Barack, obviously. I think Stefano, I know Erpek for sure, changing circumstances, which is why he can't make the race. As Stefano, I think, along the same lines as well. So both of them demoted to reserves. We've only got 19 drivers here tonight as well. So if there are anybody out there, like Mubarak there in the chat, I know you are retiring. We want to see you out on track for one final time in PSGL PSF1. Of course, he's got a race. I think his retirement race is supposed to be on Friday in the other place, in the other league, in Baku, his final race. But we can fling that actually from not only another league perspective, but from our perspective as well, because Mubarak was, of course, here in PSGL PSF1. I'd like to wish him all the best from us in the commentary box, from everyone here in PSGL, of what he's going to do in the future. I know he's got a new job, new outlook in life. Hopefully it will give him all that fresh outlook as well. And I can't wait to see him back in 3 months' time for F1 24.
Yeah, sometimes that mental reset, that break, sometimes can make all the difference as well. So, and I have got to know him quite a bit over the past year. So, understandable that he's taking a break. And yeah, I agree with you. On behalf of everyone at PSGL, I wish you all the best. Also, in other news, Aurelian is also going to be retiring as well. He was a PSF1 champion from last season. So technically, James, he's done a bit of a Nico Rosberg. He's decided, you know what? After my championship, I'm not going to race it in PS anymore on PSGL, which is understandable. He's going to take a break also. Again, it was great to have Aurelian in the league. He has raced in PSGL for a long time, and I think he was in the top tier on PlayStation when I started. So coming up for 5 seasons now. It is crazy. And you can't see it on your screen, but we can see it on our screen. James has probably got his hand going down. And actually, let me find this. I need to try and find the scene. There we go. I'll reveal it to you now. It is full wet conditions in qualifying, Mr. James Head.
Oh my God. What are we in for here? I'm shocked. I mean, we had intermediate conditions in F4. I think F2 were also due to get intermediate conditions as well. Round about this point, looks like we are getting somebody trooping out on track very soon indeed. It's one of the Ferraris, I think, that is actually leaving the pit lane first. It's Enlar Keki, a man that is absolutely loving conditions right now. I've got to say, the Finns always used to the Scandinavian flicks in the snow and in the rain. And Keki definitely going to be on terms with these conditions. However, the Brits in the field definitely going to be liking these conditions as well.
Well, I do remember the likes of obviously Lando Norris and George Russell probably kind of used to these conditions already. So we're going to have to wait and see, of course. But interesting information about this circuit. First used in Formula 1, 1978. The circuit length, 4.361 kilometres, 2.710 miles. And as well as talking about season 32, let's talk about the previous race winners we had at PSGL around this track. CRG Benjamin, remember him? Season 29? He took an unlikely victory for Matthew Alder in second and Joost Noordijk finishing in third. Season 28, Wilson Hughes, McLaren Shadow Esports driver. He took victory on that day. Joost in second, Duncan in third. Season 26, Matthias Van Urban took victory. Simon Shooter in second and Nicholas Kasani finishing third. These are getting some throwbacks here. Season 25, Louis Welsh took victory from Casper Janssen in second and Midnight in third. I think that was Jack Laverty, I believe. Season 24, Wilson Hughes took victory again. Louis Welsh in second, Jacob Tex in third. Same podium in season 23, apart from Louis Welsh and Wilson Hughes switching around. Season 21, Cliffy taking victory from Machinery in second and Matthew Alder finishing in third. So, let's go on board a lap around this famous circuit. And James, would you want to take us through on board a lap with Keke?
Yeah, very, very hard down in towards turn number 1 and the right-hander turn number 2. Keke not looking too bad, I've got to say. I'm glad we're sitting in the commentary box right now and not actually out on track, because I'd probably end up in the wall around here, I'll be honest. Keke now coming through. Soon as I've said that, he's hit the wall through turn number 4. I do not want to say he hit the wall again. 23.6 in the first sector from him. Now coming through the left-hander of 6 and in toward the right-hander at turn number 7. He is absolutely all over the place right now, and every single driver will be like this out on track. Of course, Tomos is in the game, got rid of the wet time trial, so no wet time trial. This is literally their first step, baby steps, I'm going to call it, out on track for these guys, out on track. And Keki now coming up the hill in towards turn number 10, 49.6 in the middle sector. That's if you can see, even the curve at turn number 10, he tried to go half Scandinavian flick, he's actually gone half in the wall there. I think he's got left side unplate damage on that kart as well. Keki, unfortunately for him, the first man out on track means that he's got the cameras focused on him now, running down the hill in towards the wall of Champion Chicane, which will definitely capture for you out in these conditions, as Keki now embarks onto the wall of Champion Chicane through 13 and 14 on the run to line, very, very wide again through that final corner on the run to the line, and Keki there sent a 122.2 to start off the night. However, Cameron Dowd, I think, is coming in and behind him, and he goes quicker by nearly a second, 121.207. So Cameron Dowd out on top, Keki there in second. Ryan now splits the pair.
Well, we can see, obviously, certain drivers are now full-time. They probably put a bit more practice in. Cameron Dowd that had a bit more notice going into this as well. Volakongan now fastest, also going to go up to the line now too, as he finishes his lap. What's it going to be for him? P5. We've got more drivers down the back straight in towards the hairpin coming up that we can see. Expect a lot of drivers to get more than one lap in. These wets can last quite a bit of time, and we can see the lap times getting even quicker and quicker. Ian Van Erven had a bit of a slide towards the wall of champions. He just about avoided that. That was close for me. And he goes second, a very respectable lap time from him. We got, I think, Matteo about to start his out lap. We got Noof, who's just invalidated his run, so he gets to go again. Gustav goes up to the line. He unfortunately invalidates too. So that's everyone's first runs now complete. And it's Cameron Dowd on top, Ian in second, Flopman in third, Volakongan in fourth position. But there's certain drivers that were very close on the top of the championship. Flopman has been doing very well the past few races, and so close to Matteo at the top of the standings. Surely this could be the race he's looking for to gain that advantage on Matteo, because Matteo hasn't set a valid lap yet.
Yeah, I'm on board with Matteo coming through turn 6 and 7. This car looks really hunkered down, I've got to say right now, in terms of the McLaren. In terms of Matteo's qualifying position, by the way, on average, 5th position is where he's basically qualified on average throughout his 4 races this season. That transpires into the race. He's topping the average finishing position on 2.8 from 4 races. So Matteo's qualifying sessions haven't been as good as his race sessions, is what I'm trying to say. But he is looking good on this lap time. Now coming to the right hand of the hairpin at turn number 10, then through the kink of 11, then down the straight through turn number 12, down into the wall of Champion Chicane at turn 13 and 14. It's Cameron Dowd out on top, Renz Thomason now in second. Ian Van Unen there in third. Drivers getting multiple lap times in, maybe to just try and conserve the battery, then go again. The rain is absolutely pouring down. I can't even see. I'm sitting just away from my screen. And the visibility is so low on this track. It's ridiculous. Matteo now on the run to line goes fifth. So not a bad lap there at all for Matteo. But Cameron Dowd's out on top. Ren's there in second. Ian Van Unen there in third. Conditions are getting very, very wet out there. Flopman hitting the wall through the first sector as well.
It's getting worse.
On one lap. It is getting worse. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, Jess, if we end up in storm conditions and we see a bit of flashing light here and there in terms of a thunderstorm.
Yeah, I think so potentially too. And this is definitely 1-2 conditions. I've got my telemetry open as well, so I'll get to see it in a minute once I update all the driver names. But this is awful. Oh God, I really do hope in another league I'm in tomorrow, I hope it's not like this, because otherwise I'm gonna cry and I'm gonna die. So yeah, I agree with you, Mr. James Head. I'm glad I'm in the commentary box. It's just so hard with the standing water. They got to have as much downforce as they possibly can, especially heading towards the last few corners. Justin goes up to the line as well, down in 18th position. And they are a few seconds down in their time. So I think we could have an early end to this qualifying session, I'm afraid, because not many people, apart from Matteo, have improved laps. We could be talking about loads of other things other than what's going out on now on track, because there isn't much going out there on track. Yeah, you can see that slide as well. I think unless it gets better, I think these are the last timings we're going to see, and Cameron Dowd will be on pole.
Yeah, we might see, honestly, if conditions do improve, which I highly doubt they will. If they do improve, it'll only be to intermediate condition tyres. So drivers are going to have to try and weather the storm, quite literally. Tim, by the way, my ooh in the background was for him. And again, he's all out of shape, coming through turn 6 and 7. Invalid on this lap time, invalidated coming across the final chicane. Spies are saying Tim needs the onboard. Unfortunately for him, I'm holding them to this comment in this comment section. Tim wins, mark this, is what he said. Tim's down at 18th and invalid currently in qualifying with 9.5 minutes to go. Tim's not looking good in qualifying, I've got to be honest right now from the Ferrari perspective. Sapala as well is on a lap time, the NLR man coming through the hairpin. He's looking more consistent compared to Tim on his lap at the minute. He is on a run. Cameron Dowd's out on top of Renz in second, Ian Van Noonen there in third. Yossi is interestingly gone out on a set of full wet compounder tyres, but it is a fresh set, as will Gustav, as will, I think, Volokongan and Ryan potentially as well. Sapala has just done the same thing as Tim through the final corner on the run start. It would have been a 22.8, so that would have put him right down on the bottom end of the field. Justin did improve beyond that 25 that he set on a fourth lap on that wet compounder tyre. But Cameron Dowd on top, Renz in second, Ian Van Noonen there in third. You'd almost think this is a dry session right now out on track because it is the same protagonists up there in qualifying that are normally up there in the dry than they are in the wet.
You never know around this track because, again, we haven't seen these drivers race around Canada in these dry conditions on this game unless they've taken part in other leagues, which it is possible. Zorzo has unfortunately invalidated his run, so we is going to sit out this one as well, but it's going to take me a while to update. Yeah, I've just updated the names so I can see the whole shebang in terms of sectors. So, the fastest first sector, none of the fastest first sectors, by the way, belong to Cameron Dowd. So, the fastest first sector belongs to Flopman. The second sector, people are braving on the intermediates, by the way. Good luck to them. Second sector, fastest, belongs to Ian Van Erven. And final sector belongs to GL Gill in 8th place. Those are your fastest first sectors. 23.1 sector 1, 25.6 middle sector, 14.7 final sector. So there was time still to be found, but just people weren't optimizing at the moment. So I think people are just still going to be in the pits until the track improves even more. So make sure you watch this because it's going to be absolutely insane. I can't wait to see how this is going to go because I think this can go either way.
I'm going to call it now, Jess, and say final person across the line will take pole position because it looks as if Yossi, I was watching on board with him. He's came straight back into the pit lane. Put on that fresh set of wets, he's came straight into the pit lane. So obviously, he doesn't feel that he's good enough on those compounder tyre. Cameron Dowd, however, I think it's actually not Cameron Dowd, it's Gustav who came out. He was the one that you mentioned that selected the set of intermediate compounder tyre. He's now gone out on a full set of wets. So obviously, in terms of the rain, this rain is still falling on the track. The wet compounder tyre can dispose of about 75 litres of water every single second. So Gustav is now pretty much being the slaughter to the lambs almost. He's the guinea pig out on track, is Gustav. They're in 9th position. He's now having to form basically what you could call, in these conditions, like a wet, dry line-ish. So Gustav is going to have to try and tread this path for everyone else. If he treads the path and there's a dry line form, he just invalidates coming through the middle sector. Then drivers will transition on instead of inters, and that's what drivers are doing. Cameron Dowd, Ian Van Noonen, Flopman, I spy Jeroen on there, Tim and Sapala, all selecting the inters. So the rain looks like it's beginning to ease off now. This final 3 or 4 minutes of the session is going to be really, really key, but I'm going to say it now. Final person across the line gets pole position.
Well, I am looking at the weather forecast, and it's meant to go down to 89% towards the end of this race. That is what it's going to be. So it's going to be cutting it bone and dry. So let me put it into perspective. I get this lovely data because I can see the software. We don't get it on the F1 Gamer spectators. Currently, it is 94% in terms of rain expectancy. In 5 minutes, it will be 89% as well. So that is what we're going to see. We're going to see lap times come big and fast, and I agree. And it will be time for you to get your predictions in the chat on who you think is going to get pole position as well. So we'll keep an eye on those drivers on the intermediate side. So where is Gustav on the track? He's in the pits. Is anyone braving the inters? No one is braving the inters.
No.
Everyone is going out on full wet, which is understandable. I think Gustav was like trying, nope, that's not going to work, unfortunately. But we are seeing quite a few invalidations, which is to be expected around this track too. And you only get a few sets of wets for the race. And according to my telemetry as well, doesn't look like they're going to be suffering any rain in the race if we're having a lobby restart, because according to this, it is light clouds at the start, then it's sunny, then it's light cloud, then it's sunny again.
Which is not too bad. Ryan, by the way, in the chat, in the Discord, has put, I think qualifying is over. I wanted to do a safe run as my first, and suddenly I can't improve due to a monsoon. Maybe should have pushed a bit more. Yeah, that's the summing of, I think, everyone's feelings right now out on track. We have got drivers, though, on a set of inters. Ian Van Unen is the one that has actually braved the conditions. He's going on a set of inters. Renz and Baki also out there on a full set of wet compound tyres. So it looks like more drivers are starting to brave it. It does visibly look like the rain is getting slightly lighter. It's still very heavy rain, but visibly to me, track conditions are slowly but surely improving in terms of visibility, and in terms of the rain, it's slowly but surely easing off as well. So you said there about 5 minutes, and it'll drop down to 89% of rain. This rain will keep at the same intensity, so we'll see what Ian Van Unen can do, and we'll see whether or not he's going to go for this lap time. Looks like a majority of the drivers now are selecting the inters, so it is going to be literally the case of final 2 minutes of the session. Everyone now flies out there on a set of intermediate compound tyres, tries to get maybe 2 or 3 runs in, and then it all decides on who's going to be the final man to the line, as Ian Van Unen is just about to set up on his run on a set of inters. Is he going to improve, though? That's the main question.
We will have to wait and see then. Let's go on board with him around turn number 1. How does he take that curve? He's still struggling a little bit. He's got to make sure he avoids the puddles as much as he can. He's got to take a different line heading towards 3. Now heading towards turn number 4. That's the trickiest part, and that is the trickiest test. If he doesn't invalidate, then he's pretty much won. He had to be about the way of the Mercedes driver that I saw in front as well. Purple set to 1. Purple set to 1. So is the track improving? But I'll have to actually check to see if it is purple set to 1 on our end as well. It is. So people are saying, oh, we think qualifying's over, but it is not. If you're on inters, this is where you got to be. And James' prediction might come true then. Quite a few people have invalidated. Heading towards the middle sector. Purple sector 2 again. He's improved by 7 tenths of a second. Heading towards turn 10. There's yellow flags there everywhere, but that's not going to phase Ian Van Uven in the Haas. This could be a wake-up call for a lot of the drivers. And he's still purple sector 2. Purple sector 1 belongs to Gustav in 10th spot right now, but it could change at a drop of a hat. So here comes Ian Van Uven. Up to the line he goes, and it's going to be very, very tough for him. But the challenge phases him, and he gets pole position. Let's watch Gustav right now on his run. Purple sector 2. Is he purple sector 2? It's really hard to tell. And he's purple sector 2. Okay, so that is going to be interesting.
Yeah, 48.1 in the middle sector combined. Gustav is improving by 1.4 seconds out on track right now. That would take him towards Ian Van Unen's sort of range. It would take him beyond Cameron Dowd as well. Everyone on out that, though, means we're going to get final drivers across the line. Could take pole position, so it could be anybody. Flopman there, purple in the middle sector. You mentioned Gustav now is purple coming through the final sector. On the run to the line, he will go. Does he go quicker than Ian Van Unen? Yes, he does. 19.8. Good lap time there from him. Baki is improving, but only by 0.2 of a second. Clearly now it is intermediate compound tyres out on track. Flopman sliding his way through the final corner. On the run to the line as Ian Van Unen remains in second. Flopman to the line. Actually made a mistake coming through that middle sector as well. So he was down that lap time. Matteo, however, is improving. Championship leader as Keki there, the Finn goes second. Matteo there in 8th position. Justin now goes quickest. This could go anybody's way. Matteo on the run time towards the final corner at the Wall of Champion chicane. He's improving by 1.5 seconds, so he's looking very good on this lap time. Matteo, the championship leader, surely going to be around the 119 flats. Ian Van Unen goes quicker than Matteo, 19.4 in the end for Matteo, and it is going to be those drivers out on track that are on that outlap that are really going to suffer, because anybody that's going for a second run right now are probably going to get the more favourable conditions.
Yeah, because they are going to be on scrub set and they're going to be on less fuel as well. We've got the likes of Gustav, purple middle sector once again. And then you're like, you know what? we're switching it to Matteo. He's purple again. Do they keep switching? There's certain drivers that are struggling at the moment. Gustav took that final corner perfectly. He got a bit of bad X through the wall of champions, but that final chicane was lovely. As Gustav, 119.0. Ryan is improving as well. Where is he? Ryan is 12th. Hairpin. He lost him in the hairpin. Baki has retired from the session. What can Keke do? As he goes up to the line, he is invalidated. Vlotman is out on top with a 118.6. We've got, I think, one of the Aston Martins up to the line. Justin has invalidated. We've got the Williams now of Ryan as he goes up to the line. This looks like it could be fastest. No, only 4 fastest. We've got, I think, Matteo going up to the line. Can he go quicker? He's purple in both sectors. So this is like, looks like it's going to be in the 118.4s potentially. 118.2 for Matteo. This is good for him, but watch out for Cameron Dowles. Cameron Dowles is setting the time screen to light here. Ren's on the lap as well. So is GL Deal. Ren's and Gil up to the line. What are they going to do? Gil goes 8th. Ren's goes P2. But watch out for Cameron Dowles. Cameron Dowles can only manage 3rd though, which is very frustrating. But it is Matteo who's on pole by just 1/10 of a second. Wow.
And Nuth just managed to get 6th position toward the line there as well. Phenomenal qualifying from him. It's Matteo out on top. Ren's there in 2nd. Cameron Dowdes in 3rd. As I say, it's normally the ones you're expecting dry qualifying that are up there. But this time, Matteo is the man out on top. It's Ren's in 2nd. Cameron Dowdes in 3rd. 0.2 of a second, as you mentioned there, Jess, covering the top 3. Yossi in 4th, Flopman and Faith. My man, Nuth in 6th. Go on there, my friend. Ian Van Unen in 7th. And Zozo in 8th. Volakongan in 9th. Gustav ran off the top 10. Then Gil, Ryan, Stefano, Jeroen just in the top 15. Keke, Baki, who went out on that set of wet compounded tyres. Don't know what he was thinking in the end. Down in 17th. Sapala there in 18th. And Tim there down in 19th position. We are going to take a word from our sponsors, GT Omega.
Welcome back to PSGL PSF1, and when we thought the conditions were going to get absolutely worse, we were treated to an absolute masterclass in qualifying. We saw cars improving time after time. We saw people that weren't even on new tyres set pole lap times. It was absolutely incredible. But now we head to a dry qualifying session. No illegal blockings, so we should be getting underway very, very shortly. But what that does mean, James, they've got all dry tyres on their disposal, and this will be their first laps on the dry tyres. How are they going to do?
I think they'll do pretty well. I really hope they do pretty well, I've got to be honest. Ryan, by the way, mentioning that we're starting at 28, so dead on the dot 28, so that'll be 3 minutes from now is when we'll be starting. Volakongan putting in a very sad face because we can't start any earlier than that, but it does give a chance for the opportunity for drivers to have a bit of a break. But in terms of qualifying there, Matteo out on top, Ren second, Cameron Dowdes in third. Matteo saying he needs a much-needed toilet break. I would need a much-needed toilet break if I was setting a lap time like that. In the end, obviously with the conditions, that was about 10 seconds off what F2 pull time was a little bit earlier on. F2 pull time was a 108.816, and F4 pull time was on a 109.1. So in the end, Matteo obviously about 10 seconds off the pace, but that is what happens when you get intermediate condition tyres. And to be honest there, Jess, as well, not really peak condition tyres either, because easily it could have been the case of numerous drivers getting a run on their lap times, and that track still improving if we had a longer session. But Matteo out on top, Renz in second, Cameron Dowdes in third. Might be the case, but Ian Van Unen might have to restart his game because he is currently stuck in race director and can't get out of it, which is very bad.
Yes, we may get a lobby restart. You never know, but let's hope that's not the case, and let's hope Renz does get into this as well. But yeah, we're seeing like the people that usually have the experience go up near the top, but we've had Matteo, who has joined us here this season. He was in F2, he was the F2 champion, and he had a point to prove, and he's proven that point. He's been leading the championship for quite a bit. We're starting to see the drivers that haven't been in this tier very long outshine the ones that have been in this tier for quite a while, which strongly suggests the ones who have been in the tier for quite a while, they would need to improve potentially as well. But it's great to see a creme of talent coming through around this track. And don't forget, like I was saying earlier at the start of the broadcast, we haven't had a race around here in the last few seasons. The last time we were here, like we were saying earlier, season 32. So we had no clue on what the pace was going to be like on this game, which makes the racing wide open unless you race in other leagues. But I'm very excited. I usually get my predictions in soon. I'm going to have to get it in soon before we've got a minute to go. I'm not going to go for Matteo, because usually pole is not the best place to start. I'm going to go for Renz to take the win. James, what do you think?
Okay, I'll take that. I am going to go for Flopman. Why not? I think people are going to hate me in the comment section for that, given how I've been with Flopman in recent weeks. But Flopman, I think, he's just coming into himself as a driver. He's really learning his craft now. He did very well in Austria last week, did well the week before, just beginning to head into the form. We've got a full dry race expected as well, so drivers further down the field have got a big opportunity to try and go through. Looks as if, though, everything is okay, so we don't need a lobby restart. I think drivers are going to be told to ready up very, very shortly indeed.
Yeah, so that is great news that Renz hopefully is able to get back, but we are seeing a little bit on our screen, at least. You won't be able to see on your screens a glimpse of what tyres we may potentially go on. I see a Ferrari driver going on to set mediums, but we see an F2. Oh, we're about to get going. Okay, scrap that idea. 5 red lights here at PSF1, and it's a go. Matteo gets a good start, but Renz right side by side with Cameron Downs. Cameron Downs going to try and get a lovely toe. Turn 1 is usually where all the chaos happens, but not today. Renz stays out on top. Yoli to the inside of Flopman. He's had a brilliant start. He's up to 4th. Both the Hasses tries to make the move on turn number 4. And don't forget, these track conditions are very difficult because it is overcast, but so far, everyone has made the first few corners A-OK. They're now heading towards turn 6 and 7, and Matteo is still down there on top.
Yeah, everyone's clean through. Oh, nearly getting in the wall there, actually, Ryan, on your own. Your own's on a set of soft compound tyres, as is the man in front of him, Stefano. Also seeing a move for Ian Van Unen ahead of Nuth. Nuth there having pedal issues, potentially. So he's there down in 7th position. Might be one to watch out for dropping down the field. But Zolzo there now on the back of Nuth. Dives it to the inside line. This is not going to end well. He somehow gets that into the inside line. Nuth backs out of that. And now Zolzo's going to try and attempt on Ian Van Unen. Running down the straight. Cameron Downs getting Renz and all of this as well. There's so many position changes on that one. It's unlike Formula 1 in real life. Matteo leads the way. Cameron Downs in 2nd. Renz there in 3rd. Renz to the inside line. And Cameron Downs has to cut across the track on the left-hand side and loses a number of positions behind Yossi, behind Flopman. He goes, he's there down into 5th position. In the end, Cameron Dowds got boxed in. Renz was on the right-hand side, gave him room. Cameron Dowds, though, boxed in by Matteo in front of him, couldn't go anywhere. He took the escape road and loses 2 positions as a result. Cameron Dowds now needs to get into the frame of mind as he's there down in 5th, and there's Stefano getting into 10th as well.
Now, we're seeing different strategies to what we saw in F2 because we're seeing soft tyres being used more than the mediums, so they want to gain as much positions as they possibly can. And Jeroen is trying to do exactly the same thing on Gil. He's right on the back of him, and look at the superior straight line speed and grip that those soft tyres have, as Jeroen's saying, thank you very much, that's my position. So he's up into 12th place. I'm interested to see how much the softs are worth per lap. It's around about 4/10 difference per lap. As I don't know why Will Murdoch has joined the lobby, but there we go. Anyway, we've got Noob, who's side by side with Stefano. Stefano trying to get the edge on Noob there in towards the penultimate few corners. I do see a McLaren having a pressure from Renz, but we'll touch on that in just a moment. Past the wall of champions, Noob almost did exactly the same thing to Cameron Downs did a moment ago. Could be 3 wide as Noob has made a mistake, and Volakongan is now past them as well as Jeroen. So Noob has lost 2 places when DRS is enabled. That could be huge, and that is a huge shame. He made a mistake once again. Here comes Ryan then on the back of Gil. So Ryan's capitalised on this. He could get past Noob 2 to turn 4. He does not. But there's certain drivers just losing traction out there.
Oh my God, the 3 wide coming through turn number 5, now in towards turn 6 and 7. Please be clean. Justin and Geel. Geel actually made contact with the back of Nuth. And there, the Alpine in behind, that was Sapala, nearly making contact with Geel as well. Goodness me, up and down the field, there's brilliant racing out on track. It's over aggressive towards the back end of the field. Everyone now sits in turn in terms of their racing. But Matteo leads the way, Ren's in second, but Yossi there in third. Position gains early on, Jess. 5 positions gained for Stefano, 4 gained for Jeroen. On that sort of soft compound and tyre, really loving life right now. As will Renz on the back of Matteo to the inside line, down the straight, down into the wall of champions. Job done for him. Yossi coming out of a different parish as well on the back of Matteo, can't find the way through. It is Renz that now leads. Matteo in second, Yossi there in third. But remember, DRS detection point around this track, down the start finish straight, is shared with the one as Yossi goes around the outside of turn number 1, can't get the car start, makes contact with the back of Matteo, just about recovers the car. He stays in third for now. Cameron Dowds in fourth, Flopman there in fifth. Here comes Cammy Dowds to the inside line. Jimmy Dowds will be very happy with this move if he can pull it off. Cameron Dowds on the back of Flopman to the inside line now through turn number 5. Pretty much wing mirrors apart as they come now through in towards turn 6 and 7. Surely Cammy Dowds has got this. He has. Cameron Dowds through, he's into fourth. Flopman there in fifth. Ian Van Unen there in sixth. Flopman there just been outmastered by Flying Scotsman 2.0.
Wow, wow, wow. Cameron Dowd, his first race as a full-time driver, and he means business. He's aiming to capitalise and try and redeem himself after he was forced off wide in towards the final corner. And look at that tyre smoke in that hairpin. That's going to be, I think, an interesting factor going in into the rest of this race. And the interesting factor also around it is the undercut. It's one of the shortest pit lane losses in terms of time on the calendar, 17.4 seconds. So they got to time it perfectly. Some people may want to go for 2 stop here, especially as well. And we got to talk about that final chicane as well. It's very tight. One of the most notorious sections in F1 history. Requires hard braking as well. That is what the drivers have got to master. But on lap number 5 of 35, Ren's still out on top with Matteo. So they are trying to save a little bit of their battery now, because otherwise they're going to lose quite a lot in the opening stages of this race, and they won't have enough to last towards the end. And as I was saying earlier, in terms of weather, I did say I was going to brighten up towards this stage of the race, and it has. It's now getting sunny again. It's going to be sunny for, I think, around about 10-15 minutes, and then it's going to be overcast with 30 minutes of the race, and then it's going to be sunny again. So conditions may change at a drop of a hat, but luckily we're not going to get any rain. So Mateo drops a little bit to Renz, but it does depend on what downforce he's got on the car. Meanwhile, the 2 Red Bulls going side by side. When's the first time we've seen that in a league race? As Stefano has the upper hand for now on those softs, but Zorso's got the better durability on those tyres. Is he going to get past him towards the final chicane? Nope, he is not. Stefano stayed ahead and stayed in 7th.
Yeah, and you're beginning to see a real split, I think, happen further down the field as well. Gustav is now becoming the real cork in the bottle as Jeroen now passes Zolzo to the inside line. Beautiful move that from Jeroen. Yes, a little bit aggressive there on the brakes in towards turn number 1, but he had that pretty much wrapped up like cotton wool there from Jeroen. He's through, he's into 8. Zolzo there in 9. Gustav there top 10. That's the first commentator's curse of the night from my perspective for Jeroen. Jeroen's picked up a 3-second penalty now, as there goes Stefano to the inside of Ian Van Unen. Ian Van Unen knows better than to fight that. Stefano through, and he's into 6. Ian Van Unen there in 7th. What I was about to say, until all of that happened, was Gustav was the one becoming under pressure. He was 9 tenths away from the back of Zolzo, now 9 tenths away, and now only 2 tenths away. So Gustav got back within DRS range. Very easy to pick back up into a DRS train around here. All of the DRS train all the way down the field into P19, so pretty much the whole field covered by a DRS train right now. Tim there on the back of M. Sapala looking for a way through at the hairpin, not quite finding the way through. Of course, Tim, who was on pole last week in Austria with that final lap blitz that he had at the Red Bull Ring. Tim there down in 17th right now. He has gained a couple of positions, though, from not in the lap time in qualifying. But it is Renz out on top, Matteo there in 2nd, Yossi there in 3rd. And with 1/5 distance gone, all I can say right now to you guys in the chat is sit back, relax, enjoy the ride, because nothing's really going to happen at this point.
Yeah, they're just finding their feet, just finding their rhythm a little bit, because like I said, they're going to be wearing out their tyres and also the ERS if they keep pushing like that. So definitely the right thing to do as well. We are going to wait potentially until the first pit stops potentially as well. The wear rate around the hard is about 3.5 to 4%. Once we see it on the medium, so I think expect them to come round about towards the middle half of the race and pretty much do even sims between the hards and the mediums. The softs will only last about lap 10, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. I'm interested to see the average stats I am seeing as well, in terms of finishing positions to predict who I think is going to do well as well. Renz, even though he's a quick driver, his average position, can you guess what it is? 7.3 from 4 races. He's definitely capable of something more. Matteo, on the other hand, 2.8. So you would expect Matteo to be the one that's ahead. Matteo is right on the gearbox potentially already towards turn number 1. Ren shuts the door.
Honestly, from a neutral's perspective, like us in the commentary box here, this is going to be really good because Ren's out on top, a very good young up-and-coming talent on PlayStation. Matteo, I've been up into the rafters and back again with Matteo of what I've been saying about him in recent weeks. Yossi there, very, very good as well. Cameron Dowd, maybe the second coming of someone like, I don't know, Wilson Hughes. I'm just saying Cameron Dowd's there in fourth. This is really good. From a neutral's perspective, where we haven't really got a standout driver on PlayStation right now, this is the perfect opportunity. And by Frank, this is the perfect race, I think, for somebody to make a name for themselves. We've got 3 out of the top 4 very much young, up-and-coming prospects on PlayStation. Guys, you will see in F1 esports going forward, or F1 Sim Racing Championship, whatever it's called these days. But it is really good from a neutral's perspective. Hopefully you guys can get on board with this. Matteo there leading, Matteo better lead the way on the back of Renz. Renz just holding on to the lead right now. Matteo there in second, Yossi there in third, Cameron Dowd there off in fourth position as Zozo attempts the move. Hopefully, if I get on board with him in time, he's going to attempt the move to the inside line. There's not really a gap there, to be honest, from Zozo. He was involved in 4 incidents last week, and Zozo, to be fair, gets the job done. Beautiful move. Hard's coming into play now, Jess. He's Looney's into 8th.
Yep, the hards are definitely in the right range for Zorzo, so it is at a stage now where the hards are going to be like, let's be patient. We know the softs are going to die out soon. Let's try and get these overtakes done. Also, Ian Van Uven as well. Watch out for him. He's got Stefano that he's trying to chase. And just look at the rate that he's going to be catching. Stefano as well. Gustav as well as past your own. Yeah, those softs are dying out. But Gustav's cut the corner. And that was karma for Gustav. He shouldn't have cut the corner like that. He's got a 3-second time penalty.
He went around the outside of your own. He was all the way around the outside until basically chopping your own off at the curb of the corner. Unfortunate for your own, he loses the position. He's about to lose another because there's Volakonga now side by side with them down the straight. Nuth and GLG in the Sauber and Ryan there in the Williams going side by side on the background as well. As there goes Jerome back to the inside on and Volakonga through, though he's into 10th. Jerome there in 11th. If I was in his shoes right now, I'd be coming in around about lap 12, lap 13 and then go for a set of hard compounder tyres until the end of the race. Ryan there now on the inside of NLR Nuth. These guys will definitely be in the same party. Guarantee you that. The German there now to the inside line on the fellow countryman of Ryan. And Nuth there holds the position that holds on into 12th. And now he's got the old guard. 2 old guard drivers in Nuth in PSGL and GLG, a former PSF1 champion back in the day. He's there in 13th, and these two are about to go Hammer and Co. out on track. Ren's leading the way, Matteo in second, Yossi there in third, lap 10 out of 35 here at the Circus Gilles Villeneuve, and the old guard are passing the older guard. GLG passing NLR down in towards turn 7 and 8. Job done for him.
I have to say, we got a good view out here in the commentary box because the game decided to give it helicopter cam. Yeah, here he comes. He's going to try and go for a hit or towards the hairpin. We've also got the Haas as well, who's right behind of New Ryan as well. They're all going for it. Trying to get past your own. It's going to be very, very tight. But we've got a battle for the lead. We've got a battle for the lead as Matteo passes Renz in towards the final chicane. And he's your race leader. But Renz is not going to give up without a fight towards turn 1, is he? No, he's going to be patient. I thought he was going to be patient. So they're going to be switching and wooing positions like no tomorrow. I wonder if they're going to be DRSing each other in the next couple of laps to make sure they can pull that gap between the likes of Yossi, Cameron Dowd and Flotman, who are also in this train. Pretty much fair play to all 19 drivers. They're all in one single train and they have not stopped. All it takes is for one driver to make a single mistake, and knowing me, I'll probably jinx someone. But there we go. But anyway, Mateo and Ren still fighting like no tomorrow. Everybody is fighting like no tomorrow. The next fight we're going to see, the next closest fight, is between Cipolla and Justin, heading towards turn 7 and 8. Cipolla just about to say, oh, he made a bit of a mistake there. That's allowing two of the Ferraris to gain a bit more time.
Yossi nearly makes a mistake at the hairpin there on the back of Renz. He was pretty much like Monaco hairpin, Grand Hotel hairpin, Tokyo drifting through that hairpin. But Yossi there on the back of Renz, second and third position. He's now on the front foot running down the straight, but Yossi with 95% of battery, by the way. Cameron Dowd's coming from an absolutely different parish on the back of him on the brakes there. Thought he was going to make contact with him. Yossi there, 98% of ERS right now. Matteo, leader, 90%. Renz second, 84. Yossi third on 100. Cameron Dowd on 97. Flopman on 84. That's how it stands in terms of the ERS for the front five. If you want to go further down, Stefano's in 6th on 51. Ian Van Linen on 67. Zozo on 59. Volakongan on 51. And then Gustav, 21% for Gustav. And now the split happening between Gil and Jeroen. That 11th and 12th position, sorry, between Gustav and Gil even. That split now happening as Cameron Dowd once again hunting on the back of F7 Yossi for this P3 position out on track. We will begin to see drivers maybe thinking about an edge into the pit lane, maybe going on to a set of medium compound tyres. But if I was these guys, I'd just be very happy with the compound I'm on. As Cameron Dowd now looks towards the outside line, Yossi pretty much trying to save up the battery coming through the hairpin. Now Cameron Dowd on the inside line. Barely a hair's breadth between them. Yossi, though, I think has got the slipstream. He'll have it down the straight. Surely on the back of Cameron Dowd and near the interlock wheels. Running down the straight. This could get quite dicey. Matteo now getting the box in as well on Cameron Dowd. Cameron Dowd can't go anywhere and somehow gets out of that box. Yossi there in third. Cameron Dowd's in fourth. But now Yossi, the one under pressure. Here comes Cameron Dowd on the one down in towards turn number 1. Brilliant battle between them both for Yossi. Into the back of Renz. Not gonna happen at all between them both. Cameron Dowd, nothing wrong there. Yossi too late on the brakes. Battle of the late breakers. And Yossi contacts the back of Renz. And Renz's race has been ruined for the second week in a row.
Renz is probably one of the most unluckiest drivers probably in a while, as Yossi
he's got damage. Rear wing.
Yossi's got rear wing damage. And if there's a place where you do not want to get rear wing damage, this is the place you do not want to get it. It's absolutely horrible. I've spoken from experience. I know I haven't driven many Canada races, but on the F122 game, it is awful. So Yossi's got a lot of work to do, obviously, but multiple drivers could not break into turn 1 like that. One or two drivers are going to literally just end up in a wall, end up getting damaged there. So Cameron Dowd was able to benefit from it. So did a few other drivers as well. Somehow, though, after all of this, who will we seeing in P4? F7R Stefano. We haven't seen him near the top in quite a while, which is really great to see. In fact, on the graphic that Connor's produced for us, thank you, Connor, and with the help of Nick as well, he's not even on the standings. So, Stefano is showing that he's got pace around there. On those softs, he's keeping up with those hard runners. He's not doing a bad job. I would love to see his tyre wear. But obviously the game won't tell us, unfortunately. But yeah, Stefano in fourth, doing a decent job.
Yeah, 2 11th position finishes for Stefano to his name, which is why he's not showing up on the graphic. He's 19th in the standings, though, coming into tonight with hardly any points on him. And now he's in fourth and potentially going to be getting 8 points, which is going to be very valuable as he goes throughout the season. We've still got a good, nearly at the halfway stage, we've still got better. Oh, Flopman to the inside line of Cameron Dowd, catching me off guard to the inside line at the hairpin. The Sauber now on the back of the AlphaTauri, but Cameron Dowd, as Macho said in the chat, he had Yossi on strings. He's about to have Flopman on strings here, potentially. Running down the straight, in towards turns 13 and 14 at the Wall of Champion chicane. Mateo will lead the way. Cameron Dowd in second, Flopman there in third. They remain as they are as they come into the Wall of Champion chicane. Flopman gets a slightly better exit. Cameron Dowd, though, gets a better exit compared to Mateo. You know how I like to see these two battle. Cameron Dowd and Mateo on the inside line, down in towards turn 1. Cameron Dowd is ahead of Mateo. Hopefully that might be a sign of things to come later on in the race between them both. Two of the highest prospects on PlayStation about to do battle. Renz, by the way, who I thought did have damage, he didn't. He actually hasn't got any rear wing damage. It was him that I mentioned rather than Yossi. Yossi did have damage right side end plate in the end. That's why he's down on the pit lane. That's why he's down in 19th position. And ideally, Jess, he needs a safety car.
He does need a safety car, but I'm quite surprised, James, that we haven't got one yet so far. And usually Canada in PSGL has higher probabilities of safety cars. And James, you're probably going to tell me to shut up because I'm probably going to jinx someone again. I could tell from the way you were thinking there, Mr. James Ed. So I'm not going to say too much about the word that starts in S and ends in cars. Now, I'm not talking about the film Cars the movie, which is a great film, by the way. But anyway, Matteo, he's got the slipstream from Cameron Downs. Is he going to pull to the inside? No, he's not going to pull to the inside. He's got a lovely run, Matteo, in towards the wall of champions. Volagongan has passed Gustav. Gustav's in the pit. He's going really early, even earlier than what we saw Stefano. So surely, yes, he might go on mediums. So he's going to come in, but we're going to watch this battle unfold whilst Gustav, he's on the medium tyres. Can they realistically get to the end, James Ed?
In our notes, I think they can. I think we've put, 22 laps lifespan, a set of mediums, and I said about optimal 15, 16. That's what I was going off until I saw F7 Stefano starting a set of soft compounded size. So all of that's out the window in terms of our notes. We're going on what's in front of us, which is always what we like to do in terms of commentary. Plus having that sort of medium compounded size, though. If I'm right in terms of my calculations, I did Black Grand Prix mode earlier on. Then Arnutha picks up a 3-second penalty. That was coming to the second chicane. Looking at the Grand Prix mode that I did earlier on, it's around about 3.5% to 4.5% in terms of average tyre wear. 3.5% if you're conservative and if you're in a DRS train like these guys are now. Or if you're like Gustav and absolutely hammering it around the track with nobody in sight, you're going to be wearing that out about 4.5% per lap as Matteo now looks on the back of Cameron Downs. But again, Matteo does not get a great exit through there. Ivan Unan's into the pit lane as well, so he's biting the bullet. In terms of an undercut around here at this track as well, undercut strategy so potent around this track. It will gain you about 4 or 5 seconds when you decide to come in the pit lane. So we should see Gustav really benefit from the slipstream already. And there, Ian Van Unen's not even coming out the pit lane yet. Gustav is already ahead of Ian Van Unen by about a second coming out the pit lane. So that transpires, if that's a second per lap, you're going to be seeing Cameron Downs, Matteo Flopman, all the way down in this train.
James, can you carry on, please? Because literally I'm dropping frames and I need to find a way how to fix it.
Yep, no worries at all. Cameron Downs leading the way. Matteo there in second. Flopman there in third. We are about halfway through, by the way, in terms of this race. So hopefully you are enjoying the stream. Like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell. Of course, if you're brand new to our channel, you can check out our sponsors, Sim Racing Centre and GT Omega. As well, all links in the description below. As Ryan now looking on the back of his fellow NLR German compadre in terms of Nuth running down the straight. Justin on the back of Ryan as well. Could be an NLR fest down in toward the wall of Champion chicane. It's Ryan passing Nuth. Justin now on the back of these two as well. Nobody deciding to come into the pit lane this lap around. So it is going to be really interesting to see how drivers might benefit potentially from this road. Now, Justin gets the run on Nuth down in towards turn 1. Looks towards the inside line. Nuth holds sway, though, on the inside line now coming through turn number 2 and holds on to that position in 9th position. So nobody deciding to come into the pit lane just yet, which is a little bit surprising given how Gustav, Ian Van Unen, Renz and Keke all on that sort of medium compounded tyres are going to be benefiting so much. But the fresher compound tyre that you're on at the end of this race, the better it will be to the end of this race. So drivers now are playing the long-term game. Can those tyres make it? Drivers playing the short-term game, like those drivers who haven't put it in just yet, are going to be playing the short-term game, and they are going to manage their tyres much better towards the end of the race, as I think we should be back.
Yes, I think that the frames are pretty stable right now. So let us know if it's A-OK. I was just monitoring it whilst James was commentating, and it's pretty much stable. That's probably a sign that my parents are home because they were pretty much using the Wi-Fi on their phones, which is probably why I was dropping frames. But anyway, thank you for carrying me. We got more people coming into the pits. What's going on here?
Oh, I thought Zozo nearly went in the back of Flopman. Oh,
that was very close in the pit lane. That was very tight. But we got the likes of Zorzo in, Flopman's in, Gustav and Ian obviously went in a moment ago, KK and Renz. This is where we get to see the undercut. Is it powerful? Gustav in towards turn number 1. Easy. Ian, he is comfortably ahead of a lot of these guys. But the advantage that Flopman and Zorzo will have will be fresher tyres. So the advantage will come back to help them later on as well. So 3.3 is not going to be too bad. If there's a safety car, it could be very, very crazy indeed. How is Stefano on 18 lap ball softs? And Stefano, Dirk's predicting Stefano crazy strategy. It is very, very crazy. And I just don't know why he's doing this. Or it might just be the game telling us he's on softs, but he's on a completely different tyre.
Well, put it this way, if he's on a lifespan of 16 Apple softs, there goes our notes out the window, quite literally. Mateo on the outside on a Cameron Dowd, running down the straight. Could he go into the pit lane? Yes, he beats Cameron Dowd into the pit lane. And this is where everyone is now going to come into the pit lane. Nuth is going to stay out. Ryan and Stefano, though, you've just mentioned it, 5-second penalties picked up for speeding into the pit lane. It's a 49 mile an hour limit here, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in Canada. Maybe slightly faster than that, but everyone now into the pit lane, 48 mile an hour speed limit. So it means everyone now is going to come out of the pit lane as we get overtakes galore down the straight. Flopman on the inside line of your own now back behind Zozo. Zozo gets the job done as well. And look at where Cameron Dowd just came out on, just around the outside of your own still continuing on out there. To be honest, for Cameron Dowd, best possible thing to come out in. He's behind Mateo, he's behind Zozo and Flopman. Not a bad position to come out at all, especially when you've got a guy who's slow right behind you.
Yes, he's got like a little bit of a buffer as well, so he can use this to potentially try and get past. And in these situations, you do not want to be past traffic. But if you got fast drivers in front of you like Mateo, you could DRS them along. You can use the slipstream. You gain more with the turn around this track. But there's certain tracks where you can't afford to stay with traffic. Hungary, for example, is Ian Van Erven. Side by side with Backy, we've got Tim and Noob going side by side for the lead of this track. 3 wide in the hairpin. That was the likes of like Ren, Volakongan, Keke as well. That was very tight. Ren's too. They're all in one big train as well. We could see, it's going to be 3 wide towards the penultimate corner. Surely this is going to end in tears. It does not end in tears. Great stuff from a lot of them. There's position change galore in Canada. We're on lap 21. I'm losing track on who's gained position and who's lost. Jeroen's still been on those tyres for 20 laps, and he's being absolutely swamped by the drivers who's pitted a lap ago, and Keke, who also pitted. Gil getting past him towards turn number 4, which he does. So Gil's got past him. Ryan and Justin side by side as well. I just don't know where to look, James. There's just so much action going on. The 2 of the Astons fight with the Williams, and Ryan is ahead. Fair play to Ryan for defending like that.
Fair play to Jeroen for not actually killing anybody there. I've got to be honest, Jeroen has did. I know it's all defensive and everything. His tyres are about to absolutely puncture, by the way, in terms of the rears. How on earth everyone made through that? I do not know. Answers on the polls card, please. Brilliant racing out on track. Canada always likes to deliver in terms of the racing. That's what we're getting here tonight, is there. Sapala goes for the race lead on Nuth. They're into the pit lane, and Nuth is into the back of Sapala. I think the ghosting system kicked in there.
Oh,
no, it didn't.
penalty.
5-second penalty. Yeah, 5-second penalty. The ghosting system failing Nuth, unfortunately. The German there was ghosting system, but there was a touch. He touched the back of him, but the ghosting system came into effect. I thought he might have got away with that, but he didn't. Nuth there, 5-second penalty. Jeroen was retired in the pit lane. Yeah, he feels that he's not going to get another safety car coming his way. But judging by Gil's spinning, oh my goodness me! What on earth's going on there between Justin and Gil? Justin just about gets the job done on Gil. Gil's nearly ended up spinning like Felipe Massa on the final lap. Oh my word. Ian Van Unen leads, Gustav second. Yes, they actually have already pitted. And look at the gap they've got. They've got 5 seconds over Flopman and Zozo. That's a massive gap around this track. What on earth is this race?
I did say, James, this is the shortest pit lane loss in terms of time on the calendar. I did say the undercut is going to be powerful. Cameron Dow's going to be side by side with Zorzo and Mateo. This is going to be the move he's looking for. He's going to get past Mateo first. Mateo plants the car where he needs to be. It's crucial for him. He knows where Cameron Dow's was going to go, and it was not going to go there. I can tell you that. And we got the likes of Zorza and Flopman as well. It's because those guys keep squabbling and Gustav and Ian DRSing each other, which is allowing to do that. Bearing in mind, Gustav does have that penalty. Ian does not. Ian is currently 5th in the championship. He can gain a huge haul of points if he wins this race. Don't forget, if you win a race at PSGL, you get 16 points. If you get fastest lap inside the top 10, you get 1 point. So the maximum points on offer, 17 points. And if Ian gains that, He's going to jump quite a few positions in this championship, and that is going to be really good considering this is his first season in the top tier at PSGL. Most winners, I think, have been drivers who haven't been in the top tier of PSGL this season, which shows the skills gap is not that big in terms of tiers as well. So Gustav and Ian definitely doing the right thing, switching each other around as well, using each other as DRS, and that's allowing more time to be gained on those two, and everyone else is losing less time. So you see, that's what they're doing. Gustav is not challenging Ian at all, and they're using them as slipstream. Good tactics between the pair of them, and it's gaining them a lot of time.
Yeah, Mubarak there in the chat actually mentioned that Zozo doesn't want help from Flopman. I think that's actually now the case, because it's, what, 5 seconds the gap, Flopman. The guys in front of each other are working together. They're going to keep that gap out as long as possible until the tyres in behind, Flopman, Zozo, Matteo, all come into effect. They're going to have to work together. Whether they like each other or not, they're going to have to work together,
Yes.
because I can't really see in 12 laps' time this gap coming down by 5 seconds. I'll be honest. Flopman is in no man's land. He's got the tyres, but there is more DRS straights around this track than there is corners. And because of that those DRS straights, it will gain him. It will gain the guys ahead, in Van Oon and Gustav, about 0.2 of a second in that DRS train. So look, it's 4.9 seconds the gap now. By the end of the Wall of Champion chicane, as there, Cameron Dowds looks on the back of Matteo. He tries to switch back out of the hairpin, not trying to get the Italian off out of guard there. But Gustav, they're leading the way. Now watch the gap. Flopman, 4.9. This gap will be about 5.2, maybe towards the end of the Wall of Champion chicane. There, 5.2 seconds. That is how much they're gaining. 4/10 of a second, just down that gap alone. The corners will help with these guys behind, but DRS training are helping Ian Van Oon and Gustav. Gustav's only got a 3-second penalty. Those guys, Flopman's also close by 2.5 seconds. Then it's game on for second and third for them. If not, Ian Van Oon and Gustav for the race win.
Yes, and we got, I think, 3 or 4 cars in the same DRS train, and they got to try and close in on the gap. Otherwise, their race win hopes are over. We got Flopman in third, Zorzo in fourth, Matteo in fifth, Cameron Dowles in sixth. They're going to be absolutely frustrated that they can't even close up, and they were the ones, Matteo and Cameron Dowles were the ones leading this race, and they're stuck behind this traffic. We thought it was going to help them in a way with the overcut, but unfortunately, it's not. And Mubarak saying in the chat, Matteo or Cameron should overtake Zorzo now and help Flopman. We do know that Matteo and Cameron Dowles will be able to work together a little bit more to help. So I think that's what Matteo's got to do. So if I was Matteo, I would try and get past right now. But look at this. So also trying to get past Flopman. And Matteo gets past Flopman as well. So, oh, that was close from the wall for Matteo there. But Flopman trying to get on the inside and towards turn number 1. They can't afford to squabble like this in towards turn number 1. This is where they're losing time. They can't afford to do this, James.
Yep, and Zozo, 20% of ERS. Can you really see him catching with that amount of battery? No. Ian Van Oon and Gustav, they'll catch the Gustav. Don't get me wrong, they'll catch the Gustav. Ian Van Oon, though, the thing that will help
Cameron.
with Zozo Matteo.
No, Flopman spun.
I didn't catch that. What happened?
Well, it was hard to tell because the ghost existed, but Flopman and Cameron Dowles tried to go for a move and Flopman spun. So that is Flopman's chance over for the race win.
Yep,
and Cameron Dowles also a bit of time to Matteo, so I think it's Ian's to lose at this stage because Ian is doing a great job.
He's doing a great job. The gap is just beginning to whittle away. 4.1 seconds of the gap. Zozo, compared to Gustav, will have about 10% fresher tyres, I would say. Compared to Ian Van Oon, about 7-8%. So Zozo's not looking too bad. But they lose so much time down that straight, down in towards turn 1 as well. Matteo's now going to have to get on with things. Matteo passes Zozo to the inside line in towards turn 1. Job done for him. He's into third. Mubarak there in the chat saying it's too late. I think it's too late. I think this race is gone for them, I'll be honest. Ian Van Oon, what I would do in Ian Van Oon's situation, gap Gustav out. Gustav is not really on the same pace, albeit he's a very good driver, Gustav. He's not on the same level and at the same level as Ian Van Oon. And Ian Van Oon can easily pull away from him. Just pull that trigger, and he's away by about 3-4 tenths of a second. In this gap, though, as Cameron Dowd's now passing Zolza down the straight, Cameron Dowd is now going to have to take charge of this chasing pack. He's got 73% of EOS. Mateo's got 20. Mateo, if I was in your situation, my friend, let Cameron Dowd through, let him do the donkey work, just sit and charge the battery, and just hope that he can drag you along into this front pack. If not, it is Ian Van In against Gustav, but look at the gap now between Mateo and Gustav. It's around 3.5 seconds, so the gap is whittling away. It is getting now to the point where these guys in behind are beginning to come back into play in terms of the race. But if I was in Cameron Dowd's shoes right now, he's going to have to get on with things, get this overtake done on Mateo, now looking toward the outside line and towards turn one.
Mateo's not fighting this.
Done. Mateo not fighting, and Cameron Dowd still needs into third. This is exactly what they've got to do now. Cameron Dowd has got to take charge of this if he wants to get Mateo and Zolza potential on that podium.
Yeah, I think Cameron Dowd is going to be the leader of this train. He's going to be trying to do the same to what we saw Gustav do. Don't forget, Gustav are teammates with Cameron Dowd, so surely they know what they were doing anyway. Gap's coming down 3.7 seconds. They could be doing a little bit of a switcheroo later on too, but bearing in mind Gustav's got that penalty. If Cameron Dowd could just find about 7 tenths of a second, then Cameron Dowd is going to get P2, which will be really, really good to climb himself up the championship, because we saw Renz have a bit of a struggle early on in the race. Flotman is not going to get any points either. So imagine Cameron Dowd could go up to third in the championship in his first full-time race here this season. When was the last time we saw this? Oh, yes! Last season, James. Season 35, where exactly the same thing happened. It's Gustav, by the way.
What's he doing? To the outside line! On Cameron Dowd into the wall of championship cane, gets the job done! What on earth? Mateo through on Cameron Dowd.
Nice
this
move.
Is not what I was expecting, and
There's Zolzo.
Zolzo to the inside line and towards turn number 1. What on earth is this race again? Cameron Dowd to the inside line, just about to hold off Zolzo, gets the job done, back through turn number 2. That was unexpected by Mateo. Caught me by surprise. Thought he was just going to stay in behind. 4.1 seconds now, the gap. That gap has gone from 3.4 to 4 seconds, all because Mateo passed Cameron Dowd. Mateo wants to try and limit the loss to Cameron Dowd. That is now home into third. Cameron Dowd in fourth, Zolzo there in fifth. A, there wasn't even a McLaren check gap off that outside line, I'll be honest. But B, how on earth Cameron Dowd and Mateo didn't touch is just testament to their good driving, testament to them as really talented individuals. Ian Van In leading the way, Gustav in second, Mateo there in third. But all hope with Mateo now overtaking Cameron Dowd for the race win, maybe even for second, has gone.
They lost time through this. They lost time with that squabble. It is helping Ian, and Gustav could still keep second place here. We'll check the penalties. Cameron Dowd's going to try once again on Mateo, but they just can't. Oh, as Cameron lost a bit of time on the exit, that's gained more time on the front too as well. And you just got to stabilise your position. Use the toe, get the slipstream that you need, and just do not fight. If you fight, you're going to lose time. Tim and Ren, side by side towards turn 2 and 3. 9 towards turn number 4. Very tight entry they go. Tim defends that well. Keeps the line that he was looking for, but I was close to the wall once again. For the likes of Tim and Renz, they could gain quite a bit due to penalties. But I don't think we're going to get a safety car at this point. I think we've hit the window where it could be a bit late under safety cars. Cameron Dowd is closing in on Gustav now, so the danger of him staying P2 for Gustav is pretty low, unfortunately. Penalties, he's got 3 seconds as a little bit of an update, but we will see what they could do. Cameron Dowd is definitely doing the right thing now. He's got the pace, he's been saving up his battery, he's got newer tyres as well. Could this be the sign of the downfall of the top 2 because they pitted earlier than anyone else? Or will they carry on working together as a team? I think they will work on together as a team. As also, by the way, having a battle with Tim on the final corner.
Yeah, as I said earlier on, they're going to have to work together if they like it or not. If they hate each other, they're going to have to work together. It's about trading blows with your enemies and making that enemy a foe in this race. Because Cameron Dowd's in third, Mateo there in fourth. That gap is coming down, but I'll be honest, Cameron Dowd is relying too much on these tyres coming into play at the end of the race. Gustav is now out of range to Cameron Dowd, out of range to Mateo. So it looks like they're going to be second and third now, Cameron and Mateo. But Cameron Dowd is relying solely on those tyres coming into play these final 4 laps of the race. We've had no safety car in this race, no VSC either. It has been really, really strong so far in terms of the race. But now Cameron Dowd can see the front 2 ahead. Gustav makes a mistake there. Out of the hairpin, just the first sign of his tyres potentially going. And now that gap comes down by about a 10th and a half. So Cameron Dowd relying on these tyres really coming into play. However, cloud building over the circuit now. It's not going to be at the room operating temperature for these mediums out on track. So Cameron Dowd is going to have to use just a little bit of that battery here and there. Almost conservate that battery and make your way through the field. Ian Van Den leads the way. Gustav in second. Cameron Dowd in third. No matter what side of the bargain you're on, if you're a neutral like us in the commentary box, this is going to be one brilliant final 4 laps.
Make sure you watch until the end of this Grand Prix. Grab your popcorn, get your predictions. Who do you think is going to win this one? It's going to be close because we could see Cameron Dowd has the pace, but Ian and Gustav have got the teamwork, and that could make all the difference. Ian will have a nice buffer too. Yossi gets that 3-second penalty. That could change quite a bit in terms of... Oh no! Ian's got a penalty, James!
And that just throws the whole complexion of the race entirely open now to Cameron Dowd and Matteo as a result. That is game-changing in terms of this race.
The chat can't believe it.
Chat can't believe it. I can't believe it. He ran wide, I think, coming through turn number 9 on that outside curb is where I think he got caught wide on, and that's where he's picked up the penalty. A third penalty. A third warning, I should say, for Ian Van Unen. Gustav there in second. But Francesco saying in the chat, I don't think they'll catch. I don't think he'll catch either. Cameron Dowd is going to be borderline 3 seconds, whether he likes it or not. He's going to have to rely on his battery now to get him into contention in this race. If I was him, use it up through this entirety of this lap.
Yeah.
And then get within the gap of Gustav and Ian Van Unen. And then he's still going to be gaining time through the corners anyway. So if I was Cameron Dowd, I'd be very smart with this and just try and use up. Look, 2.1 seconds now. He's within DRS range on the. He's within range on the back of Ian Van Unen and Gustav in terms of penalties.
2.7 to leader.
2.7 to the leader. But does he really want third out on track, or does he want this race win? Race's instinct will take over from him.
Yeah, he can't afford to have that race instinct sometimes, but there may be some situations where some people may have got that 3-second time penalty, like, unintentionally, and the game might have screwed them. So, of course, Cameron wants to fight this just in case the win does get taken off him if penalties get removed. But that's going to be a very unlikely situation. But again, we'll have to wait and see. As Yossi just set the fastest lap of the race, Yossi is not going to get points because he's outside top 10, but he's stealing away points that everyone else could get. 2/10 is the gap between Ian Van Unen and Gustav. They're holding on by dear Fred, but remember what we saw F7R Stefano do on those softs. If anyone could stay on those mediums for 17-18 laps, these two could definitely can. Zippel and Volakongan side by side towards turn number 3. We've got a yellow flag. That's Gustav. That's Gustav that's off. He's got a front wing. I don't know what has happened there to cause him to get a front wing damage. But Cameron Dowd all suddenly is 1.9 seconds behind Ian Van Unen.
I think he's lost it on the curb potentially at that first chicane. Coming through turn 4, I have a feeling he's just had a big snap. He's gone right into the wall. And unfortunately now for him, Tim, Stefano, Ren, Sapala, Volakongan are now entering a car park because it is literally going to be car park, rush hour Montreal as GLG advertised there at the back end of the race. But Ian Van Unen leads the way. Cameron Dowd in second. 1.5 seconds separating them out on track. Cameron's now used up the entirety of his battery to try and get a run on Ian Van Unen. But he doesn't really need to. It looks like the podium's going to be settled. It's going to be Cameron Dowd, Matteo, Ian Van Unen. But Matteo, does he really want the race win? Of course he does. He's on the back of Cameron Dowd in towards turn number 1. Is he going to risk it, the Italian? No, not quite. But the two young protagonists has the yellow flag. And that is Tim out of the race through the wall of championship chicane.
If it was like 3 or 4 laps ago, there would have been a safety car. But there's no safety car so far. This is the fight that we want to see.
Matteo, oh my God.
Matteo almost made a mistake there. He can't afford to make a mistake with only so little time left in this race. First sector done. They're now heading towards the middle sector. Matteo's going to have the DRS on at Cameron Dowd. Cameron Dowd won't have any DRS. So this could be advantage Matteo, but these two can't afford to squabble. Otherwise, the two Red Bulls could be on for this race win, or even Ian again. Ian just got to keep it clean and stretch that gap in order for his race win to be his. Heading towards the hairpin for one final time. I can't look, but I have to look because we've got to keep an eye on this battle then. Matteo, he's got to go for a last-minute lunch, otherwise his run will be over. Here he comes. DRS enabled for Matteo. Cameron Dowd doesn't look like he's going to challenge Matteo whatsoever to the inside. Matteo gets past Cameron Dowd. Ian gets the win on track. But it is Matteo to the line and wins again at PSGL Canada. Amazing stuff. Cameron Dowd second. Ian Van Erven in third. Also in fourth. Great result from him. Ren Gubakabi drive to sixth because Wolakonga jumped. Wolakonga's fifth. Well, that's because he hardly got any penalties.
Oh my word, what a race. In the end, I wish that straight was longer. 800ths of a second between Matteo and Cameron Dowd. Are you kidding me?
Oh my
in terms
God.
of that race. Oh my word, what a race that was. There were numerous amounts of penalties getting picked up on that final lap of the race. I probably amount of 3-second penalty that were being picked up. I've got there's more penalties than I've got fingers, I think, quite literally, in terms of the penalties there. But Matteo wins, Cameron Dowd in second, Ian Van Unen there in third. Will Murdoch, unfortunately, didn't actually partake in this race. He's just left the session.
Was he engineering?
Toward the line. I think he might have been engineering. If it's him, I would say he was engineering maybe Cameron Dowd or somebody.
I don't even know who he was engineering at this point, but what a race. And after all that, we had no safety car. I was expecting to come into this. I was like, yeah, there's going to be chaos. There's going to be a safety car. I have a feeling it's going to be one. We didn't get any.
Which is testament to the drivers out on track, Jess. And honestly, Canada always likes to throw up a very clean race here and there. That's exactly what happened tonight, as quite literally rising to the top for the third time this season. It is all Matteo. And Matteo, the championship leader, he won in Australia, won last week in Austria, and now he's won again in Canada. And
Two
he
in
didn't
a row.
fancy his chances. Yeah, 2 in a row, and he didn't fancy his chances actually last week in Canada. He just said he'll take it as it comes. He's took it as it comes, and it's got him a race win. And now puts him with Flotman further down the field, Ren's further down the field. I think Cameron Dowd might move into second. Actually, no, he won't. He'll move into third in the championship. Flotman there, I think, gets points in the end. I think he ended up, down in ninth, so he does get points. Cameron Dowd in second in the end. But let's have a rundown of that grid order. 800ths of a second. Separate Matteo and Cameron Dowd for the race win. Ian Van Unen might look into getting that 3-second penalty removed. Have a feeling he won't be able to repeal it, though. That is the thing. But Matteo wins, Cameron Dowd in second, Ian Van Unen there in third, Zolzel there in fourth, with Wolakonga in fifth, Renz in sixth, Stefano seventh, Keki in eighth, Flotman in ninth, Gustav top 10. Then it's back in 11th, Ryan there in 12th. Knuth, who did have a point, had 8 seconds worth of penalties in the end in 13th. Stefano there in 14th, Justin in 15th. Yossi with fastest up the race in 16th. Doesn't get the extra point though because he's outside of the top 10. Tim in 17th. He ended up out of the race along with Giel and Yaron, who retired earlier on in the race. Matteo wins, Cameron Dowd in second, Ian Van Unen in third. I'm going to ask them if they want an interview.
Yes, I can't remember who I predicted. So I predicted Renz and he finished sixth. Who did you predict?
I didn't predict anyone.
So I win. Joking. But
I win surely. Oh, hang on. No, I did predict somebody. Who was it? Oh, it was Flopman. Look where he ended up.
you probably didn't see that on camera there, guys. But I just literally put my tongue out on James' head. So I'm doing well in predictions. I'm doing very well. But I did predict, but he didn't win, so that technically doesn't count. But Matteo technically lights the flag, but he didn't really go lights the flag, which shows how crazy the race was from the front as well. Multiple penalties from certain drivers. I think I've seen certain drivers get like 9 warnings. But I have to say, the ones who kept it clean, Wolakonga only got, I think, he got 3 warnings, but I think he got 1 for a collision, I think. So he only got 2 warnings in terms of penalties. No one in this race has got 0 warnings complete, so they all got a warning for exceeding track limits. It just shows how difficult it was out there. I'm just saying, I think the driver who was in P14 had 14 warnings, by the way, and 9 seconds of penalties. No one got above 9 seconds, luckily. So, well, luckily we weren't on the fringe of disqualification. But, yeah, I'm going to have to say, Matteo delivered. So did Zorzo. I think both the Red Bulls did well. So did Rend as well to recovery. And, of course, Flopman. What could it be for Flopman? So many unknowns. But we're heading to a good track next week, and I can't wait. Have we got our interviewers, please?
Yes, we have. Cameron, Dads and Matteo are in the waiting room.
Lovely. I've just changed screens. So all over to you, Mr. Head.
Right, I will drag them both in. I'm going to drag them hopefully into the right commentary box first and foremost. That'll be the start. But we should have them both in now, and we can congratulate the man for the 3rd time this season who has took the race win. It is Mr. R. Matteo. And Matteo, my word, you had to work for that in the end. Cameron Dowd's 800s behind you. Talk us through that in what was an absolute thriller of a race toward the end.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, so qualifying, I was a bit lucky that the rain arrived just at the right time because pace wasn't too bad. I think I could have fought for a top 7 maybe in dry conditions, but rain is always better for me. So it was the first pole position actually in the season. And yeah, then it was just a calm race. I didn't push at all during the first stint, tried to not get any warnings, save my battery for when I needed it. And then, I think we made the right call on strategy because we waited until basically everyone pitted behind me. We were in a decent position after the pit stops. But then, if I'm being honest, I think we didn't really work together well to catch back the guys who undercutted us. And then, I think we could have done a little bit better job on catching them because we weren't really swapping every lap. But in the end, we made it work, and it's the 3rd win of the season. Really happy about that.
Yeah, 3rd win of the season for sure. What puzzled me was I said in commentary that you've got to make Cameron Dowds basically do the work. And the next lap later, you were going on the outside of him down in towards the wall of champion chicane. Talk us through that move because it absolutely baffled me in terms of commentary.
So initially, we were behind Zorzo and Flopman, and then my engineer fully told me, if you want to catch the lead train, we gotta force them into making overtakes and swapping every lap, which is what I wanted me and Cameron to do, but I don't think he understood it. I wanted to swap every lap with the guy ahead lifting into the last chicane to let the other guy go and have a great run in the last corner. We didn't really work together well. I just made Cameron do the work once I saw he had a bit more pace than me. I just stayed in the DRS, made him catch because it was useless to use ERS and go for an overtake every lap. And then, we catch the train just in the last lap. Cameron didn't have DRS, and that was what made me win the race.
Yeah, in the end, I honestly thought Cameron Dowds was going to get a run on you coming out the final corner with that switchback that he had. But in the end, it was phenomenal in terms of the racecraft between you both. Obviously, you were trying to force Cameron to basically do the donkey work, as I said in commentary, basically try and force that pace. In the end, didn't really need to. The tyres really came into effect towards the end, and Ian Van Noonen obviously picked up that 3-second penalty. If it wasn't for that, then you guys probably would have ended up finishing 2nd and 3rd in that race. Jess, I don't have any questions for now. Any questions from you?
Yes, I do have some questions now. Congratulations on your 3rd win in a row as well, which is amazing. I'm going to run out of questions to say if you keep going in the interview room like this as well. But coming up towards the second half of the season now, France next week. We've got Portugal a few weeks ago as well. Is this the time you're going to say that you're going to be fighting for the title now? Because surely you have a good advantage. Do you think you're going to keep it up there?
I'm just trying to do what I did in the previous season in F2 because from the halfway point of the season, I just kept increasing my gap. I tried to start a bit earlier now in the season, and it worked until now because it's quite a lot of races that I increased the gap, I think. So yeah, another win is obviously really helpful to the cause, and that's what I will try to do in the next races as well, week in, week out.
That's my question, James. Should we move on to our next interviewee, James?
Yes, we can do indeed. Matteo, thank you so much. Come and enjoy your evening.
Thanks, and a shout out to my engineer Fully, which was key to the race win today.
Always good to get the engineering. Always good, and very key to get the engineering as well. But we can now move on to the man who, in the end, finished on the bottom end of that 800th of a second. Indeed, it was Cameron Dowds. And Cameron, in the end, the pace was very good. The tyres were coming to life towards the end. Just didn't have enough in the end to just overcome your friend and maybe foe from that race in Matteo.
Yeah, I felt the race pace today was absolutely insane, to be honest. I felt really, really good. I felt that maybe after the pit stop, I think none of us really worked together at all very well. The front weren't switching positions, and then I'll get a penalty because I definitely took out Flotman. I tried to go for a move on him, and I just broke. I thought he would brake later, and I just ended up braking too early. And then, yeah, I just clipped his rear end. But then after that, I passed Matteo, and then I was a bit confused because I had a full battery, and then I didn't know what he was on, but I just he just randomly came to my outside before the chicane, and I think sorry, that probably lost me the race today. Obviously it's not his fault or anything, but it was just we lost like a second and a half, and if we hadn't have done that, I would have been able to be within the DRS of the car in front at the end there, so that probably would have got me the win maybe, but it won't matter because I'll get a 5 second anyway. But yeah, it was a good race, and I felt that the pace was there at least, so yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah, very good race. Always good to see you two battling, by the way. Always really good to see you and Matteo battling in that race. Obviously, you were baffled as much as I was in commentary in terms of that move from Matteo. Obviously, that ended up, I think I said in commentary it was about 6 sevenths of a second. You said it was about a second and a half there. So obviously, with that in mind, did you feel that that cost you that race when, even if Ian Van Unen didn't have that 3-second penalty?
If he didn't have that penalty, I don't think I would have passed him necessarily, but I think I would have been able to. Obviously, I meant if I would have gotten the DRS, and then I would have been able to cover off Matteo, you know, so then he wouldn't have been able to pass me. But I don't think I would have passed Ian. Maybe I would have, I don't know.
Yeah, if buts and maybes, we couldn't get another lap, unfortunately, in that race. So, unfortunately, we can't see the back end of that. Of what would have been a really good battle towards the end of the race, that is for sure. Obviously, I think now you're saying you're going to get a 5-second penalty. If you didn't, though, I think that moves you into third in the championship, if I'm not mistaken, ahead of now Rennes, who obviously took a race win in Belgium. You're taking it along really nicely. Obviously, to forget about Austria finishing down in P13. But your third technical podium of the season, if that 5-second penalty doesn't come in, you're going really good guns, and obviously you had good form last season as well. Are you just beginning to peak at the right time?
We'll see. I really don't even feel like I've had a good season so far. No, I've had 2 P2s, and then Austria went very wrong at the end. I lagged out. And then I ended up getting in 2 incidents because after the lag out, I had to go like a madman to get back up. And then that gave me. I have a 5-second for this race as well, but it won't affect me because I have a 5-second, and then I was just thinking of it. If I get a 5-second because of Flotman incident, it won't affect me. So I think the worst I'll get is P5 or P4. But yeah, we'll see. I need to be careful now with incidents, and then just be consistent and just try and get a podium every race, so hopefully wins.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously, don't want Mr. Louis Dupont coming and knocking on your door in terms of license points and maybe qualifying ban and here and that. Jess, though, all questions done for me. Any questions?
First of all, nice job on your podium there if you get to keep it, and your first race as a full-time driver, kind of like deja vu from last season. Now you're a full-time driver. What are your hopes for the championships? We've got the next few rounds. We've got France coming up as well. Do you think you still have a chance this season, or are you just going to take it as it comes?
Of course, you have to believe you have a chance. I still believe I can get first in the championship. It's just a matter of working hard for it and just making sure I drive the best I can.
That's my question.
Well, I've heard on the grapevine as well, with both Matteo and Cameron Dowds, that they're doing France tomorrow night. So I very much look forward to that.
Good practice.
Very good practice. Very good practice for them. But no, Cameron, go and enjoy Ethan.
Right, thank you.
Very welcome indeed. He does sound a little bit ill, I've got to be honest there as well. But that is the end of the interviews. Thank you to Matteo. Thank you to Cameron. And of course, next week brings us, Jess, to where? If you're there.
Oh, I was on mute. I'm an idiot. We go to Vive la France at Paul Ricard. I was trying to figure out to say something French, but it took a while for me to figure it out there. But yeah, France, Paul Ricard. Again, a track where we haven't been that often, but a track which is boring in real life, but always good in league racing.
Always good in league racing. That Mistral straight down in towards turns 8 and 9 up the chicane Nord. Definitely going to be very interesting in terms of the action out on track as well. Hopefully we get to see the Matteo Cameron Dowd saga part 3 going on into there in France. Obviously they've got it tomorrow night as well in the other place. So I look forward to seeing them there and seeing how they get on. And obviously I will feed back any information from that race tomorrow night. That obviously will be well worthwhile in our notes here in PSGL PSF on. But of course, more action to come as well a little bit later on. Of course, Wednesday, George Morgan's final commentary on F1 23. And where better to do it than Jess at Las Vegas. Oh my word. PCF1, George Morgan, Dan Field, season 35-36. You do not want to miss that one. Jan Watme will be there, Thomas Ronhall will be there. You may even see me in the comment section there as well. But George Morgan's final race of the campaign for F1 23. Bid him farewell from PSGL, but he is going on to better, brighter things in terms of real-life commentary, which I congratulate him on, and hopefully I wish him well on as well.
Yeah, I wish you well on as well too. And we've still got France Thursday to start off that round of races. PC, F2 to F5 will be on Thursday, and then you'll be back with us on Monday. Is E-Series on Friday? I think it is, but I can't remember what track is on the top of my head.
Give me a second, I'll have a look.
Whilst you do that and check the track, make sure you like this video if you haven't already. Subscribe to us and hit that bell if you are new. If you're watching this on Twitch, hello to those of you that are still watching on Twitch. Make sure you click that follow button as well. We want to try and get as many followers as we possibly can on there. Also check our sponsors. I haven't plugged that much, so I'm a naughty head of commentators. GT Omega, 5% off all GT Omega products by using the code PSGL at checkout. You can also use the code PSGL at checkout with our partner Sim Racing Centre, where you can get 10% off all setups, strategies, and maybe a coaching session from two-time esports champion Brendan Lee. James, what's the track at E-Series on Friday?
I can't find the calendar for the sake of me. It was written last week, and August Lawrence took it by 13 seconds.
Right,
so
make sure you tune in on Friday anyway for E-Series with Nathan Richards and JGM in the commentary box. You'll find out what track it is eventually. But for myself and James, have a good evening. We'll see you next week for the French Grand Prix at Paul Ricard. But until then, stay safe, and we will leave you with our title sponsor, GT Omega. Until then, au revoir.
done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.